This video, I'm going to be showing you the danger of everyone is you pushed out, what you can do about this so that you don't experience the negative side effects. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be explaining and showing you the danger of everyone is you pushed out, showing you some of the negative side effects of what this means, and what you can do to take your power back so that you start to direct your life in a powerful way and you don't experience the negative side effects of this truth of life. So I made a video recently called Everyone is You Pushed Out. I will go ahead and link it below so that you can see it if you haven't seen it already. Everyone is You Pushed Out comes from a term and a philosophy, or not even a philosophy, but an idea of how reality works, from Neville Goddard, who wrote the book The Power of Awareness, The Feeling is the Secret, and many other books. And he talks about how everyone is us pushed out, and if we want to change anything, we must first change ourselves. So anybody that's on the outside that's reflecting something back to us, the idea is recognizing that that someone on the outside is actually us from a different point of view, and if we want to heal that version of us, or if we want to change that version of us, we must change ourselves. This is a deep metaphysical idea, and if you've ever heard of Ho'oponopono, it's actually very deeply correlated with the teachings of that as well. Which Ho'oponopono is that of a very powerful healing modality for healing within yourself, and then that also heals your outer reality. It has to do with saying 4 different sayings. I'll also link that video below. That's a video you can listen to for 21 days and repeat those 4 words and heal within yourself. So when it comes to this idea and this concept, it's also important to understand that the dark side of it is that we must admit that at a certain level, we have some of these characteristics within ourselves. And it means that we take full responsibility for our own life, which sometimes can be a little bit hard to admit. Imagine you meet somebody that's manipulative and negative. And in order to heal and to understand the truth of the matter, you must also admit that within yourself, you have a part of yourself that is manipulative or negative, and you may be resisting it, suppressing it, and that's why you dislike it so much in someone else. Whereas what you could do instead is start to see things from this new perspective and embody and integrate these shadow aspects of ourselves. But a lot of people are so attached to their positionalities, to their own perspectives. Like somebody did something to me, and if I want to remain in that perspective that somebody did something to me, I wouldn't really be able to admit that, oh yes, that same thing exists within myself. A lot of people aren't willing to say that because you want to know why? The ego wants to be right. This right here, stick figure. Imagine this is us. Everyone is you pushed out. This is us. We have this energetic field around our body. And we have this, our ego will do everything it can to survive, and it will do what it can to be right. So if we are attached to a position that says this person did this to me, I'm a victim of what this person did, it then keeps us in this perpetual state of motion of wanting to be right and wanting to be, this person shouldn't have done this but did. But when you realize everyone is you pushed out, you realize that that other person is another version of you. And the only reason they could be in your life is for you to learn something, or for you to integrate some aspect of yourself that hasn't been integrated yet. This is where the dark side comes in, or where people maybe don't necessarily want to hear it. So this is about healing from within and understanding that there is no outside reality other than what is being reflected from the inside. And yes, most of our lives have been unconscious. Most of our lives have been maybe with parents that were unconscious, maybe having and adopting the beliefs of society, the beliefs of our environment. And because of that, a lot of this may have been on autopilot. So maybe Consciously, you wouldn't have said, oh, well, I chose that abuse, and what was that abuse when I was younger teaching me? But at a deeper level, that may have been unconscious stuff that wasn't integrated, maybe even generational stuff that's been leaked down. Who knows? But the only way it can really change is if we take responsibility for it. And remember, responsibility does not mean that you're saying you deserve it. Responsibility is simply the ability to respond. The one thing you always have the ability to control is how you respond to things that happen. You can react or you can respond. And responsibility is choosing your response, the ability to respond the way you want, and giving things the meaning you prefer to give it. And when you take that power back, your whole entire life will begin to change. But what happens is most people go about under the illusion that all of these different people in the world that we meet are separate people. So we give them labels. This person is negative. This person is weak. This person is manipulative. And all of these different people on the outside that appear to be on the outside are actually reflecting back to us things that we have not healed within ourselves. If you were to take responsibility for everything that happened in your life, knowing that there was something it was reflecting back to you because these other people are you pushed out, you would then heal yourself so much that either these people would then change or these people would not resonate in your life anymore. People are energetically in our lives to reflect back to us that which we have integrated or that which we have not integrated yet. And what most people do is most people go to the outer reality. Say this is the mirror of reality. Most people go and try to change the outer reality. But there is no outer reality. There is only a reflection of the inside. So instead, this is the power. You are able to then change the inside. And when you change the inside, there may be a temporary buffer for all of this to change. There may be a buffer because there's been a certain momentum that's been built up over the last however age you are, however old you are. So if you want to change the outside, though, you must change the inside. No, there may be a little bit of a delay because we are in physical reality and things do have a sense of like an echo. There may be an echo of the past ways of thinking. But eventually, this will change. This is so powerful that with Ho'oponopono, which I was talking about a minute ago, the way that doctor that was studying Ho'oponopono or that was using that healing modality, what he found out was what he did is he was here. He had all of these medical patients, 50 plus medical patients that were considered crazy. What he did is he looked over their charts, never actually even talked to them. He looked over their charts and imagined them and imagined within himself how could he change within himself by reading their charts and by focusing on them. And what he did is he healed the parts of himself that he was perceiving in them. He took responsibility for his version of them. He took responsibility for what they were going through. And as he did Ho'oponopono, which simply means these 4 statements of this modality of saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. What he did is then those 50 plus people were healed. He never even talked to them. He healed within himself his idea of them, and that transformed them. So this flips reality on its head and says, what is actually real? Because when you hear of people in the past that were enlightened, that could heal other people simply by looking at them, what was he and them really doing? These healers, what were they able to do? They were able to look at these other people, recognize their divinity, see them as so perfect, divine, whole, and complete, that then they matched that image. That image was so strong and so pure and so powerful and so divine that they then matched it and all the negative disturbances fell away. So when you hear stories of that, that's what they did. They simply saw them in their transmission of thought, their transmission of being, of their consciousness, then impacted those people, that person, and healed somebody instantly. That's what happened. And that's what happened with Ho'oponopono from a doctor that then had 50 plus patients that were considered to be crazy. He studied their charts, asked himself, how could I heal this within myself? He then did it in that modality that I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And then these 50 plus people were healed. That seems like magic. It seems impossible, but it's not. It's been replicated many times. So, what is reality? Reality is us pushed out. What is the dark side of this? That we must take responsibility for everything in our life. We must take responsibility for the things that are happening to us. We must take responsibility for the people in our life, knowing they're there for a reason. They're there to reflect back something to us. And our own perspectives will keep us locked into a certain mentality. When we think of competition, for example, I used to work a sales commission job. I'd go into work every day, and sometimes we get into a competitive mind state. Because if a customer comes in to buy something and someone gets a really good sale out of it, some other people standing around like, I could have had that if I was in the right place at the right time. It was purely sales commission. But what we realized, and what ended up happening, is that was a competitive mind state, me versus you. And that competitive mind state emphasizes that there's not enough to go around. There's a scarcity mindset. Well, guess what? When you realize everyone is you pushed out, those other sales employees that were in my life were other versions of me. So I was competing with myself from a deeper perspective. And what we were reflecting back to each other was, if we had a view of competition, it's reflecting back to us all of our little insecurities, all our belief in scarcity. When if we were to instead focus on a creative mind state instead of a competitive mind state, there'd be more abundance. That's actually what happened. There's a book called The Science of Getting Rich, which is like a 50-page book. And in it, I read it, and I became aware of this competitive mind frame versus creative mind frame. I started to apply that. I started to no longer, if somebody had a good sale, I'd be happy for them. Because then I knew that I would also and could also create, because there's infinite abundance. As if one person coming in, then some other customer coming in wouldn't buy because somebody got the good sale. You see? It's a limited mindset. But when you're in a creative mindset, realizing everything is divine intelligence, everything is divine. All these other people are divine. They may think they're negative or weak or whatever, but if you see them as more, that many times is a healing. That is the healing. If you see somebody as sick, someone in your family, and you're seeing them as a sick person, you're not doing them any justice. But if you were to view that person that's sick as a divine person, as a strong being, then what they would be able to do is they would then be able to change, because it would be easier for them to, they would feel that power coming from you with the way that you see them. So the key is understanding that anytime we view someone else, and especially if we label them and we resist them, if we resist negative people, it's because we haven't accepted the negativity within ourselves. That was me for a long time as well. I was considered such a positive person that when I would go out, if I was around someone negative, like, oh, they're negative, it's going to make me attract negative things into my life, it's going to bring me down, all of this stuff, then guess what? That was my reality. And I was afraid of the negative patterns within myself. But instead, what I could do is I could embrace that negativity within me, say, what is this showing about myself? How can I accept the negativity more within myself? How can I love this part of myself? How can I accept it? How can I be grateful for who I am? How can I thank it and be grateful that it's showing me that I have a negative part of myself that's not yet integrated? And how can I then let it go? You see, that process right there is very powerful. And then either I don't label those people as negative, I don't bring out the negativity in them because I'm not resonating with it, or they're not in my life anymore and I don't vibrationally resonate with them. But nonetheless, everyone is you pushed out. The key to this process is taking responsibility for our version of them, because our label, our expectation, our assumption is keeping these people in place with the way that they think and feel. So let go of that assumption and simply choose to be the best version of you. Simply choose to know that you can always internalize it, and you can do a powerful process like Ho'oponopono. And by doing this, your life will begin to transform. Do the meditation, the Ho'oponopono meditation. You do it in your car. You do it walking around your house. You could do it in an actual meditation. And in 21 days, your life will begin to change. I'll go ahead and link that in the top of the description box below. Do it. It carries with it a certain vibration. And it's a very popular modality that many people do that works. It works like magic. And it also taps into this, everyone is you pushed out. That is why a process like Ho'oponopono can work. So listen to that meditation for 21 days. Watch what happens. Leave comments as to your results in it as well. Other than that, another thing you could do is, the way YouTube does things now is, in order to see the daily videos that I do, which I have many more videos on this kind of content coming out, in order to see those videos, you have to actually push the notification bell. YouTube won't show you the videos otherwise. So if you want to see the daily videos, go ahead and hit the notification bell, subscribe and hit the notification bell below. I got a lot more good stuff coming, more meditations and more videos that are, a lot of it also videos to do with Neville Goddard and some of that content, which I think is very transformative. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you can see the daily videos. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.